purport. Material bondage is caused by putting oneself under the control of matter because of the false ego of lording it over material nature. Bhagavad Gita states, Ichha dvesha samuthena. Two kinds of propensities arise in the living entity. One propensity is Ichha, which means desire to lord it over material nature, or to be as great as the Supreme Lord. Everyone desires to be the greatest personality in this material world. Dvesha means envy. When one becomes envious of Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one thinks, why should Krishna be all in all? I am as good as Krishna. These two items, desire to be the Lord and envy of the Lord, are the beginning cause of material bondage. As long as a philosopher, salvationist, or voidist has some desire to be supreme, to be everything, desire to be supreme, to be everything, or to deny the existence of God, the cause remains, and there is no question of his liberation. Devahuti very intelligently says, one may theoretically analyze and say that by knowledge he has become freed. But actually, as long as the cause exists, he is not free. Bhagavad Gita confirms that after performing such speculative activities for many, many births, when one actually comes to his real consciousness and surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, Krishna, then the fulfillment of his research in knowledge is actually achieved. There's a gulf of difference between theoretical freedom and actual freedom from material bondage. The Bhagavatam says that if one gives up the auspicious path of devotional service and simply tries to know things by speculation, one wastes his valuable time. Klishyanti ye kevala bodha labhyate labdhaye. The result of such a labor of love is simply labor. There is no other result. The labor of speculation is ended only by exhaustion. The example is given that there is no benefit in husking the skin of an empty paddy. The rice is already gone. Similarly, simply by the speculative process, one cannot be freed from material bondage, for the cause still exists. One has to nullify the cause, and then the effect will be nullified. This is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the following verses. So here in this chapter, Understanding Material Nature, these are all the teachings of Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti. And he's explaining what this material nature is, understanding material nature. That's how the chapter title is. And how we can become freed from this entanglement in this material world. If you have to free from the material entanglement, it's important to understand what is its nature. Only then you'll be able to become free from it. So, in the last two verses, or this is the third verse, where Devahuti is asking a specific question. And this is Devahuti's first inquiry. And her question was that, how does the material nature ever give release to the spirit soul? Because the attraction for the material nature of the spirit soul is so strong, so deep, that she's wondering, is it ever possible for the soul to gain release from this material entanglement? Appears to be very difficult. And she gave an example in the last verse, last two classes we saw that the example, just like, the earth cannot be water and the taste of water cannot be separated. Aroma of the earth cannot be separated. In the same way, a very strong argument she gives. In the same way, it's not possible for the soul to get separated from this material entanglement and go back to the spiritual world. How is it ever possible? And now in this verse, she's further saying, even if the great fear of bondage is avoided by mental speculation, you can speculate mentally that no, I am not this body, and go further deep into it, what I am, no understanding of the Supreme Lord. You can go on speculating, mental speculation like the Gyanis do. And we may go on inquiring, okay, the material nature is made of this 24 elements, and this element, I have to dissolve this element, this, that. So many things can be done. But this bondage can still appear. We can actually not get freed since its cause has not ceased. Now, this is the important point. Since its cause has not ceased. So she's hitting, or she has found out the real cause, or she's asking about what is the real cause that is keeping us entangled in this material world. And as long as, no matter how much we speculate to become free from this material entanglement, as long as that cause doesn't end, we cannot gain release. There's a very specific cause why we have gotten entangled. And that cause has to end. So what is that cause? Prabhupada is explaining in this purport that the cause is Ichha Dvesha Samuthena. Ichha, desire. Primarily, our fall in this material world began with this desire. And that is why we came to this material world and got entangled. What is that desire? I want to lord over. I want to enjoy. Like Krishna. And because in the spiritual world we cannot enjoy like Krishna. We can enjoy with Krishna. Not why Krishna is enjoying, I want to enjoy like Krishna. So, and I want to, like Krishna is the Lord of everything. Krishna is lording over the whole creation, material and spiritual world. Why can't I lord over? So with this desire, we came to this material world. And this desire means, and then followed by dvesha, envy. Why Krishna is everything? That is why I said, nirmatsaranam, so this scriptures is actually meant for those who are trying to become free from envy. Actually, it is meant for those who are completely non-envious. So, this desire and envy is what we have to become free from. Now, when we talk of desire, can we ever become free from desire? Desire is the very fundamental quality of a living entity. We can never become desireless. Desireless means just like this wood. This has no desire. Sometimes, people think that devotees means those who have taken to spirituality. They have some vague understanding of spirituality. Anybody who has taken to spirituality means he has given up all desires. That is the general understanding. That's why they get so worried. My son has gone, he has given up everything, he's given up all desires. No. We can never be free from desire. Desire is what makes a human being or makes a living entity. Desire is what defines us. I have desire. Only a stone can be without desire. Stone has no desire. But we have a desire. The cause of entanglement, the cause of our material entanglement is our material desires. Because we had a desire to enjoy our senses independent of the Lord is why we got entangled in this material world. And we are struggling to free ourselves. So this desire to enjoy the self has to be given up. Now, a lower desire can be given up only if there is a higher desire. Higher desires can conquer lower desires. So we are talking of these lower desires that we have to give up. Just like the example is given, if you're given something to eat which is not very palatable, but you're very hungry, you will still want to eat it. Because you're very hungry, even though it may be something dry, you will want to eat it. And if you're told don't eat this, you won't agree not to eat it because something is there. But if you're given a wonderful meal, with lot of nice items, puri, sabji, aloo, and different cakes, sweets and thing, you can easily give it up. So the only way by which we can get freed from this material entanglement, we can put an end to the cause, that material desire, is by taking to higher desires. And that is what is human life meant for, to cultivate a higher goal, a higher desire. The desire to serve the Lord. Because our constitutional position is to serve the Lord. Because we are the servant, Lord is the master. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. We are all parts of Krishna. So being parts of Krishna, our constitutional position is to serve the Lord. Parts have to serve the whole. This finger is a part of the body. If the finger desires not to serve the body, it will suffer. But if the finger makes up its mind, I will not do anything, I will only serve the body, this is my desire, the finger will be very happy. So a change in desire is what is needed. We have developed inferior desires, now we have to cultivate superior desires. Actually, this is there already within us, but somehow we have forgotten, and that's why we are suffering, we are struggling. But once we are situated on that platform of higher desires, superior desires, we will be so happy. And then we will not automatically, all the material desires will disappear. People say, oh, we have to give up my material attachments, my material desires. Actually, it's a very difficult thing to give up material attachments and material desires. But this very difficult thing becomes very simple if we cultivate a higher desire. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tatha. Yam labdhva, after having attained that position, what is that? Devotional service. Wanting Krishna seva. Yam labdhva, once you get that, chaparam labham. You want something higher? No, not required. I don't want. No desire for wanting something higher. In the material world, if you see, even if we achieve something very big in the material world, it doesn't stop our desire to attain something more. Isn't it? You attain something, say you've made big money, $1 million. You think your desire will end? Next you will desire $10 million. I want more and more and more. But if you develop this desire or this, to serve the Lord, this serving the Lord is so pleasing that nadhikam tataha, nothing higher than that you will feel like asking for. Because that is the highest. Suppose you have got $2. Now somebody wants to give you $10. You will take that because $10 is higher than $2. After $10, somebody gives you 100. You will take that also. But here, devotional service to Krishna is the highest. There is nothing higher than that. Why? Because when you start cultivating, practicing devotional service, you are basically getting Krishna himself. And if you get Krishna, is there something higher than Krishna? Mattah parataram nanyat. There is nothing higher than Krishna. So you have got the highest. So otherwise, materially speaking, As it is said that even if you're given the whole world to enjoy, and even if you have enjoyed the whole world, you will still want something more to enjoy. That is what is material desire. But once you get Krishna, I have everything. And then it is said, Yasmin Sthito, after you have achieved that position of devotional service to Krishna, that desire if we cultivate and we are on that situation, Krishna is saying, Yasmin Sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Gurunapi dukkhena. Even the most difficult situation, if you are faced in life, na vichalyate, you will not be disturbed. You will be steady. We've come across so many difficulties in this material world, and sometimes even when we face even small difficulties, we get disturbed. But you see, and we are constantly thinking, we take so many courses, we do this, we do that, how to keep my mind steady? Simply, if we cultivate this desire to serve Krishna, and if you're situated on that platform, fixed up in serving Krishna, then Gurunapi dukkhena, the most na vichalyate, we will not be disturbed, we will be steady. Isn't this such a wonderful method to be steady? This is the spiritual method. This is the real method how we can be steady in our life. Irrespective of failures or irrespective of what I am faced with, I will not be disturbed. And the best example is Prahlad Maharaj. 5-year-old boy. Can a 5-year-old boy ever be steady? But look at the steadiness that a 5-year-old boy achieved. Father told him to drink a cup of poison. Yes, I will drink. No, nothing is disturbing him. He's so steady. Father has thrown him into a pit of snakes. He has gone and he's steady. He's praying to the Lord. And you know the whole story of Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. How Hiranyakashipu tortured Prahlad Maharaj so much. But he was always steady. Nothing ever disturbed him. Why? Because he was yam labdhva chaparam labham nadhikam. He felt he was. So what position, state of devotional service he had attained? Constantly remembering Krishna. So somehow if we have this strong faith in this, if I can just think of Krishna, remember Krishna, be engaged in his service, that's enough. I do not have to worry for anything else. My worry should be how I can remember Krishna. That should be a worry. Not anything else. That's why while chanting Hare Krishna, the worry should be how to chant and hear. So if this is done, then it is very easy. So a devotee should not desire anything material. That is all foolishness. We should constantly pray to the Lord to give me to give me devotional service at his lotus feet. Even the slightest of material desire will actually be a cause for worry, cause for anxiety. In the scriptures it is said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, different kinds of people who have so many different desires, so many different material desires. Bhukti means normal fruitive workers, wanting to enjoy more, enjoy more, enjoy more. Good accommodation, good house, good opulence, good everything. They are desiring. Bhukti, Mukti, those who want liberation from all this material entanglement. The Jnanis, they want to go and merge into the impersonal Brahman, but they are also not happy. That's why we see they fall down, because there no engagement, nothing, and they have a desire, because spirit soul is full of desire. After we verge into the Brahman, we nullify our desire, and then it's not possible to remain in that state. Desires will be there. Unless and until we learn how to cultivate superior desire, we cannot stay in that position. So Bhukti, Mukti, and then Siddhi. Siddhi means lot of desires to achieve some, yogic siddhi power or anima, lagima, so many different type of siddhis are there. None, because they all have a desire to achieve something in the material world for their personal gratification, sakale ashanta. They will all be unhappy, and their entanglement in this material world will continue. What is the goal in life? The goal in life is how to become free from this material entanglement and go back to the spiritual world. This is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. These are the faults, dosha. And if you have to free yourself from these faults, from this dosha, then we have to become Nishkinchana, free from material desire. And a Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he has no material desire. For him, only desire is, I want to serve the Lord. Ateva Shanta. Then that's why he is peaceful. Goal of everyone is to find peace in this material world, right? Everybody wants peace, happiness. They are thinking we'll become happy, we'll become peaceful by accumulating more and more, by doing more and more, by doing something by which I'll be satisfied. No. That is not the method. How Krishna will be satisfied, not how I will be satisfied, because I am part and parcel of Krishna. So if I can do something which satisfies Krishna, then I will be happy. This is what a bhakta's desire is. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. He has nothing for himself. And Anukulyena Krishnanu Sevanam. He is wanting favorably to serve Krishna. Then, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, we can become free from all these things. So, actually Krishna is so merciful. Although we are supposed to be free from all material desires, but Krishna, out of his mercy, he says, okay, Krishna tried to tell us, don't have this material desire, you will not be happy. But still we forced ourselves on Krishna. So Krishna reluctantly agreed. And now, because we had a desire to enjoy, to lord over, Krishna has given us so many varieties of bodies just so that we can enjoy to our best possible extent. Actually, all these different bodies that we see existing today, 84 lakh species of life, what does these indicate, these 84 lakh species? They all indicate the desires of different living entities. Different living entities have different desires, and that is why they have different bodies. Just like anything and Prabhupada explains in so many places that just like somebody has developed a desire to eat, to eat anything, any nonsense, he'll be giving a hog's body. Because in a hog's body, you can relish that pleasure or that feeling that, yes, actually it is very abominable, that we know, that he cannot understand, but what to do, that's the type of desire we developed. So he has been given that body. So, Krishna has given us this body to enjoy ourselves, to fulfill our desires, but he's constantly telling us, I've given you because you forced me. But now you must free yourself from this and come back to the spiritual world. Even Brahma has that body because he had a desire. Once, at the end of the Bhagavatam class, devotees were asking questions to Srila Prabhupada. So one of the questions that the devotee asked, that Prabhupada, you told us that Brahma, how one becomes a Brahma. The first fall of the living entity from the material world, from the spiritual world is Brahma. So is that true? They said Brahma is, first time he comes, and so Prabhupada says, yes, it is true. So then devotees further clarified, that means as many living entities are there in the material world, that many universes Krishna has to create, because every living entity becomes a Brahma and then he falls further. So Prabhupada says, yes. Krishna, for every living entity that falls, actually he becomes a Brahma and he creates and he awards him an entire universe. So just look at the extent to which Krishna goes to fulfill our desires. That he is creating as many Brahmas, as many living entities falling, Baddha souls becoming Brahmas, that many universes he is creating. So actually Krishna loves us so much, he is satisfying our desires, but he is constantly telling us, don't be here. He is fulfilling our desires also because we have forced ourselves, but he is also telling us, don't be here, come back to the spiritual world. So, how do we become freed from all these material desires? As we have been discussing, we have to engage in devotional service. And here, in the next verse, how to become liberated, become free from this desire, it is mentioned by seriously discharging devotional service unto me and hearing for a long time about me or from me. This is the method. Seriously discharging devotional service, hearing for a long time about me, from me. This is the method. Why seriously and why hearing for a long time about me? Because our disease is very strong. Just like sometimes when we have a very strong disease, there's a high dosage required. A small dose will not work. So similarly, this entanglement in this material world has been from time immemorial, from a very, very long time. And the only way to overcome this is, for a long time you have to hear about Krishna. Why for a long time you have to hear about Krishna? Why not for a short time? Because for a very, very long time in our past life and even in this life, for a very, very long time we are hearing things not about Krishna. So because we have been hearing things not connected to Krishna for a very, very long time, that is why the simple process is for a long time you have to hear about Krishna, as simple as that. That is why Prabhupada told us. Initially he said you have to chant 64 rounds, but of course it was not possible for us to chant 64 rounds. He reduced it to 16 rounds, but then with 16 rounds, constant engagement in devotional service, which is again, in a sense, hearing about Krishna, engaging in Krishna's service, and trying to overcome all these material modes. So, we have a very wonderful process, and this process is so powerful, hearing about Krishna, because this hearing about Krishna is so nectarian, so nice, that, and we feel so pleasing, satam prasangan mama virya samimam, Hrit Karna Rasayana Kataha. This hearing about Krishna is Hrit and Karna. It is so pleasing to the ear and to the heart that if you hear about Krishna nicely, attentively, then automatically your desire for enjoying the material world will disappear. Because you will feel, you will find that there is a higher pleasure in this hearing and chanting and rendering service to Krishna. And then we can become free from all these material desires. It is not difficult. Although it is difficult to become free from material desires, at the same time it is very easy if we take to this process of seriously discharging devotional service and hearing for a long time about Krishna. This is what will purify us and will free us from all these material engagements. Once Prabhupada was saying that to open a center, you just need one strong devotee, not many. And he gave the example of how Britishers, they ruled the entire country, India, with just 200 top men, because they were all strong people. And they ruled the entire India with all subordinates that were Indians. But those 200 top men were very strong. So in the same way, Prabhupada says, a single man, if he's a strong man, he can open a center. He can preach, he can talk philosophy, he can do so many things. He can collect, he can do everything. But he has to be a strong man. And then Prabhupada defined what is that strong man. He said that strong man means he should be free from the desire of sense gratification. If he's free from the desire of sense gratification, he can do this. And he said this was the basis how we have opened so many centers, how I started opening the centers. Of course, Prabhupada was not just free, he was a pure soul, he was a pure devotee. But basically by this incident, he was trying to impress upon his disciples, he was trying to convey a message to his disciples, try to become free from material sense gratification, because if you're free from that, we can all do wonders. Once again, Srila Prabhupada was asked that, and how do we become free? By chanting, hearing is what we are discussing. So somebody asked Prabhupada that Jesus Christ, he never chanted Krishna's name, nor did he say anything about Krishna. So, how come he did so much. He preached about God and he did so much. How is it possible that without chanting Krishna? So Prabhupada says, of course we know Jesus is a very special personality, a very special figure, and Prabhupada spoke so well, so high about Jesus. He was the Son of God, he was no ordinary person. But again, one point that Prabhupada wanted to bring out is this. Prabhupada says he was free from material desires. And that is why Christianity became a world religion so quickly. So as devotees, this ichha, desire to enjoy my senses, is something that we have to overcome. And the best way to do this is by engaging seriously in Krishna's service and hearing attentively about him, from him for a long time. That is what is the instruction that Kapila Dev will give to Devahuti in the next verse. We'll end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you.